Hi everybody, I am Husky Light. Thank you for stopping by. I thought, well, I'm not feeling too bad and I've got my slap on and I'm not too tired at the moment. I would get a video done and get the Q&A done and out of the way because I've not done it for a while, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so I want to just try and get back into the swing of things again. So thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for all new subscribers that have always been with me. I'm not going to go through every single comment. I've got an itchy nose. I'm not going to go through every single comment, but I am going to go through ones that, you know, obviously are interesting, add something to, and questions and that. So let's start out. I just a little while ago put out a really quick video, freaky solar eclipse, and I just had a load of comments on that as well, because I said, has anyone else gone through or is going through these electrical disturbances or communication problems, strange phone calls, things breaking down? Because I've had that the past couple of days, and I actually remember last year going through them. And when I think back to last year, I had some really weird stuff going on last year as well around this time, with the phone calls and the things breaking down and electrical things happening. And it is, you know, it was a partial solar eclipse, I think, that we had yesterday and today, depending on where in the world you are and where you're seeing it. But it does have a real effect. Scientifically speaking, it does. I've actually sort of just had a quick look up at it, and it does affect electricity. It affects the electrical grid that's out there as well. It can affect telecommunications, so the telephone and things like that. It can affect transportation. It can affect the electrical powered grid as well. So for a lot of us, you know, that is a scientific answer to what's happening. But then when you get in freaky phone calls, or things are actually changing on your computer, or things like that, or you're sending out emails and the person at the other end hasn't got the email, or things like that. And my website and my PayPal last night just went daft on me. That's when it sort of gets a bit more spiritual then, because you can't quite explain that. You can explain certain things in a scientific way, but then there's other things like that you can't quite explain away quite as easily. But basically, in scientific terms, it's because we've got magnetic waves coming through, which is affecting it, and it will affect power stations and the amount of electricity which is being given out to appliances and that, and it can also create a surge sometimes, and it can have an effect on the weather as well. If there's an eclipse, you'll usually find that will have an effect on volcanoes and hurricanes and things like that. The weather will ramp itself up in that respect. But as I say, I noticed it last year, whereas before I was awake, I never noticed things like that. I never really had an interest anyway, but didn't notice things like that. But once you're awake and you can see it, you can look back to the year before as well and go, yeah, this is what happened this year about this time. This is what I went through. And last year when I went through it, it was to a much greater degree than it was this year, but it was scaring me last year because I really didn't understand it, and I didn't understand what was going on. And if you're afraid of it, or if it freaks you out too much, you then start co-creating. You actually create more fear, so more things will happen. I remember my phone going last year, and they were ridiculous numbers that were coming through. They'd be, I don't know, 0208 whatever, 999999, and I'd freak out about it, and then I'd get another one, and then I'd get another one, because I was just then manifesting things like that to happen. I'd get the most ridiculous people coming through on my Skype wanting to make friends with me. It'd be one after the other after the other. and I just kept blocking them one after the other. Today, actually, 77 again. I'm seeing sevens everywhere, have done for the past couple of days. It's all sevens, which is, according to my angel numbers, I'm doing a good job and I'm starting to manifest things. So when this energy is around you, you have the chance to manifest things more quickly into your existence as well, which is why we say stay as positive as you can during this time. It's difficult because the eclipse has an effect on your emotions as well, so your emotions are going up and down, so that's hard to control sometimes. But if, as long as you're aware of what's happening and why it's happening, it gives you a better handle on trying to control it, or, you know. And we know that when there is a solar eclipse, it's eclipsing old things out of our life to start new beginnings, but we have to make that space for the new beginnings to start. So it's all about clearing as well. Somebody's asked me, how long does it last? I think it can last up to 6 months, the effects of it. I think the extreme effects that we're going through now, which you pick up on more if you're a sensitive, if you're an empath, you pick up more on the waves that are coming through, which affects you more, which is why you will probably get more interference and communication problems than anybody else. Some people just breeze through it who are not awake, who don't seem to notice, but when you're actually attracting these waves to you, that's what's happening with you. So I think the effects of it can last up to 6 months, but I think the extreme effects of right now that are happening, I would say like a week or two either side. You will feel it. I think I felt it building up about a week ago. The confusion, the getting worried, not knowing where we're going, not knowing what we're doing, fears about the future, all of that sort of thing. Then we hit the eclipse and we've got all this communication stuff going on, everything going wrong, headaches. It can affect you like that as well. And then, so we're at the peak of it now. So I'd give it another week for it to calm down and to settle back down again. But actual effects of it, whatever's you're doing, whatever's happening with you in your reality at the moment, it could last up to 6 months, which is why we're desperately trying to clear everything and cut cords and that at this time, to go into the new and get new stuff, because we don't want old situations coming up again. We don't want old stuff coming through, old situations, things from our history coming back in. So we have to learn lessons again, but they will come in if we didn't learn the lesson the first time around. This is what the eclipses can bring for you, as well as bringing along new stuff, which is why we need to learn to clear. Anyway, so that's that. So I've just had a load of comments on that, so thank you, because I only put it up a couple of hours ago. Problems with sleep, emotional problems, up and down, laughing 1 minute, crying the next. Fairy jam, you've said very emotional, you haven't been able to sleep. A phone rang with the Nokia tune, which is not your ringtone. No missed call logged, and other technical issues too. And the ringing phone freaks you out a little bit. Don't dwell on it and don't think about it too much, else it'll keep happening. It'll do it again. It will, I promise. Just don't think about it, just go yeah. Which is because I did that last year, so I went through it last year, and the more I got freaked out, the more it happened, the more my vibrations were raising and getting fearful about things, the more it happened. So you stay balanced, deep breaths, stay calm. Half of these things I think that have come through are a test from the universe to see how we deal with things, to see how spiritually far ahead we are. Can we cope in a crisis? Can we not panic when things start to go wrong? How well can we keep our temper? How well can we keep our patience when things like this are happening? And I think because, we're enlightened and awake, most of us, I think it's almost like a test from the universe, and it's just like, yeah, come on then, let's see how far you've got. Have you actually learnt some lessons? or are you just pretending that you've learned some? So I mean, I got quite frustrated last night, but not half as bad as last year when it happened. I realised what was happening and sort of forced myself to take some deep breaths and to calm down and balance. So it's good to be aware of it, but I'd give it another few days for it to calm right down. But I think we're at the peak of it now, so we might have another couple of days of things going wrong or whatever, but then it will start to calm down. So thank you, Fairy Jam. Cindy S, your electronics went wild and it's still happening, so you can relate to it. I'm going to bed early tonight. I'm doing this video. Anyone who's booked a reading with me before all of this happened, you're all getting done tomorrow. But I'm doing this. I'm going to bed with some hot chocolate afterwards, and I'm just trying to keep myself out of trouble. Basically, I'm trying to keep my head low and just go with it and stay calm and stay as balanced as I can. So I would advise most of you to do that at the moment if you're really feeling it. Try and stay away from people with bad energy. Try not to get in any arguments. If you can close yourself off from everybody, go and do it, which is what I'm going to do. It's like, no, I'm going to bed. I'm going to hide under the duvet, get some sleep, because sleep gets really affected. I know, and dreams. I've dreamt every night for about a week. Last night and the night before, I woke up at 4:44 in the morning. And I know the night before last, I woke up at 4:44 in the morning, couldn't get back to sleep, and then when I next looked at the clock, it was 5:55. So the numbers will start up again for you as well, the 11s and everything else, as the vibrations increase, as these waves are increasing that come in, that you're picking up on. So Cindy S, your electronics went wild and it's still happening, so you can relate to me. Yay, I love it when I do this, because then I can get comments from you saying, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can go, yep, not just me being completely down. Apologies about that. If you notice that I do a cut off or a bit of editing, it's because, as you can see behind me, I've moved from where I'm usually sitting. I've sort of moved the computer screen and everything else, because I've just got a new dining room table, so I've just moved it all. And my son's just walked behind me to get his dinner, and no doubt my daughter will try and come in at some point. So I'm just sort of, if you see any chopped off bits. Anyway, something else I wanted, the emotional thing as well with the solar. It's in Pisces. It's a water sign, so it is. The emotions are going to be a lot more than usual, which again, meditation and grounding yourself is going to help a lot. So Maria Martinez, which is the Basque witch that I interviewed in Spain. Hiya, how you doing? You've said that 2/3 of your students got sick, 5th chakra illnesses, and problems with her email at work. Erin Kemp, emotions all over the place. Is it going to end soon? Yes, give it the best part of a week. It will slowly start to dissipate now, as we're coming out onto the other side of it. So things will get better, I promise, for you, and you will start to feel more balanced. Lucy S, maybe the universe wants you to take a bit of a break and not work so hard. Blessings from the States. Thank you. Problem is with that, if the universe wants me to do that, I wish they'd just come and tell me that, take a break, instead of cocking up my night like that last night, because I promised 2 people that I'd get their readings out to them, and I was sticking to my promise. So by the time I got off the phone from bloody PayPal and Vistaprint and everything else, it was getting ridiculous, and I was sat here with a coffee just like falling asleep. But so yeah, they did it in the wrong way, because it just made me work even harder. E.A. Kelly. This is my weekly psychic tarot that I've just put out. You really like the 4-card spread. I actually enjoyed doing the 4-card spread this week. I was getting a little bit tired of doing the one that I usually do, so I might carry on with that. It just gives, I think it's more accurate than the other one. So obviously thank you for all the comments that are on my monthly readings and the weeklies and the angel cards and everything, which is really good. I've got a lot of new subscribers that are commenting, which is, thank you, which is great. Jenica Epp on the Aries Weekly. I can't find anyone to help me. I hear what you're saying, but I can't manifest things. I'm really distressed, and I think the simple answer to that, Jenica, is the more you get distressed about something, the more you can't manifest it, because as soon as you start getting distressed, you're pushing it away from you. You're pushing things away from you, and you need to get the peace and happiness inside you and able to attract the things that you want back to you. So the more distressed you get, the more fearful you get. That's what you're going to attract, and you're going to push away the good things that you want in your life. Plus, you know, some of it's complete divine timing. It's when the universe thinks you're ready to handle it, something, or ready for it, or you deserve it, not necessarily when we want it, which is where patience comes in. I hate that. We all do at times, you know. It's one of the hardest lessons to learn is patience, but it all does come in divine timing. The pumpkin, the pumpkin 2113, hiya, I think you're a new subscriber. On my weekly Power Angel cards, I question the karma thing. I'm always nice and pleasant to people, and they still treat me like crap. And lately it's been men, and I've always gotten along with men. In brackets, doesn't that sound too good? Yeah, it does sound too good. What are you doing? Again, though, if you are too accommodating, if you are too much of a, I don't like the word people pleaser, but if you are too much in service to others all the time and nothing's coming back, you have to stop. If that's happening with a certain person, you have to step back a bit from it, and stop giving so much and stop being so nice and accommodating to others. Because unfortunately, the you know, it sounds like some of the men that you've met recently are just, you know, a bit of a you know, they're pretty much vampires. They're energy suckers, where they'll just take, but won't ever give back in any way. And as soon as and you've realised that, so that's a good thing. And as soon as you realise that, it's step back from them. Yeah, don't keep stepping forward towards them, because they'll keep stepping back the other way. As soon as you see it, step back from them. Then it gives them something to work towards. It gives them a little bit of, you know, we all know what most men are like to a certain point. They like to be men. They like to be in control. They like to do a little bit of the chasing themselves. But if you are always available to them, if you're always there on the other side of the phone, if you're always there when they email, they take advantage of that. And unfortunately, because pumpkin 2113, because you are such a beautiful person and you're nice, and that's one of your lessons, is know when to be of service to others, know when to give, but also know and have enough respect for yourself to know when you need to step back a little bit because somebody's not treating you in the right way, and be able to see that. And when you do that, you're then service to yourself, and nurturing yourself, because you don't want to be in a position where you get hurt. And at that point, usually that other person that has been going back will start to come forward again. It's like some sort of cosmic dance. But you are like, you know, when you're with somebody, you're like two magnets, or the positive and a negative on a battery, and it has to be put in the right way in order to keep it together. Leslie Baker, thank you for a wonderful reading. Burmese Jade, hello. If you see any of Burmese Jade's comments, I think she's just put a comment on the Husky Light, the Virgo weekly one. It looks like she sat above a big, or sat on top of a big white tiger, and it's the most beautiful picture. It's gorgeous. You'll have to tell me about that picture. So it's really nice. You're embracing your devil. That's good. Embrace your bad bits as well. Forgive yourself for them. Know what they are, and when you know what they are and you know what your faults are, you can work on them and not give yourself such a hard time about having them in the first place, because we've all got them. Thank you for those of you who told me this was part of the eclipse coming up. I put up Aries and Scorpio, and for one of them, the Aries and the Scorpio reading got stuck together somehow, and I had to go and sort that out. So thank you to all of you who noticed that, because if you hadn't have said anything, I wouldn't have noticed. But that was in the run-up to the solar eclipse. So again, things going wrong and cocking up in life. So still getting loads of comments on my 11. Bridget S, thank you for sharing. The video really helped me, and it's so refreshing to hear other light workers about the numbers. Yeah, the numbers are such an important part of our lives now. It's almost, if I know when they're really strong and they're coming on really strong, which means I'm dead in alignment, I'm right on my path. And then if it's quiet and it goes quiet, it's like, well, where's my numbers gone? Where's my synchronicities gone? And if they're not as strong, you sort of miss them. And that's quite funny. You think, hang on, where's my guides and angels gone all of a sudden? And it's not, and it might be because the planetary alignments, whatever, whether it's a full moon, whether it's a new moon, might not be as strong as normal. It might be that you're upset about something, or you're worrying too much, you're in fear about something, you're totally engrossed in something, work or whatever, and you're just not noticing what's going on around you, and it will seem to lessen as well. But as soon as you get back on track with your journey, they will come in again. Let me go on to, I've got so many pages open as I try to go through some of these. The Twin Flames video that I did, a lot of you have got to the point now where you know it's a letting go at the moment, before, and you know, and doing that before the eclipse, so we're not carrying the crap and the garbage that we had before over into the new, because you know, your twin flame, they'll come back to you in divine timing and it'll work out, but you don't want them back the way they were. They've got their own stuff to deal with, and you need to let them go through their own journey to get there, learn their own lessons. We can't clear everything for them. Which reminds me, actually, while I'm talking about twin flames, I'm going to turn into Patricia McNally in the next couple of days. I bought my daughter one of those easel things to put art on and do it, and she's not interested at all. She's an extremely good artist with coloured pencils and felt tips and that, but I bought a paint and everything, and she's like, I can't do it. So she's left it in the corner with a big piece of white card that I bought her. So I'm gonna have an easel here. I'm gonna have the big whiteboard, my markers, and turn into Patricia McNally, one of the other twin flame ones, because I want to help you with the difference between twin flames and soulmates, because there are some significant differences there which will help you to differentiate between the two. So I'm going to do that in the next few days and get that done for you. I've already started colouring it all in and doing it for you, but that'll be really interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of us now letting go and just going forward, being happy, living your own life, just knowing that they've got to go and do what they've got to do to get through, and they are awakening. There's lessons there still for them to learn, and we have to leave them in peace and harmony and blessings and love to let them get on with it, and for us not to hurt while that's happening, to just let go emotionally. They're still connected at the heart and all the rest of it, so it's not, and it will still hurt sometimes as well, but you can still feel the love, and the more you let go that way, the more you are less bothered earthly, physically, about what they're doing, what they're saying, what's happening, the more they will start to come back, because they're not in fear of you at all then. So a lot of stuff on that, so thank you, and I will get back now. I want to, the interview that I did with Peace, hello Peace, there was a lot of comments on that. Actually there was 11 I've just noticed there was 11 comments on it, so thank you to everybody who commented directly back at Peace as well, and I think she's answered most of you with that. And we are going to get together and we are going to go and do another one. We've spoken a few times since, quite good mates now. We are going to do another one more on the freaky stuff of waking up, or sort of the paranormal side of things, again in the next few days. And also, I don't want to I've started something here, so I want to carry on with it. I still want, if anyone wants me to interview them, I'm still looking for people who are on the spiritual path, they've gone through the awakening, have gone through Kundalini, numerologists, dream experts, healing modalities. And here's my daughter, so I will just click and switch off for a second. It's like Piccadilly Circus in here. So let me put my camera down again. Yeah, people, sliders, I'm going to come on to that one again in a minute. Near-death experiences, gematria, quantum physics, all sorts of things. So again, just drop me an email if you're interested in something like that. So yeah, Peace, we will be doing something else, and I've got to do my sort of side video to that as well, which will include a lot of the eclipse stuff that went on last year for me as well, because some of it was just genuinely crazy, but I understand why it was happening now. It's because you just keep producing it. Let's keep grounded. Right, moving on to sliders, which I should have done the Q&A last month. I wasn't well, I couldn't do it, and I've been sort of dying to get into this. Elizabeth Barton, hiya. If you're still watching me after two months, can you discern the difference between when can I discern the difference between when I am causing phenomena, when it's paranormal or when it's environmental? If so, I'd love to hear about it and compare notes. Also, do you come from a psychic family? Or a better question to ask would be, have you researched your genealogy to determine if you come from a psychic, healer or shaman family? Right, let's start with the first bits. I am starting to learn, because again, I know when I'm manifesting something as opposed to I know when I'm manifesting something myself, when it's opposed to being paranormal and out of my control, on other things coming in to influence. And environmental, to a certain point, we've just been talking about that with the eclipse. There are scientific reasons for some of the electrical disturbances during an eclipse, because of the magnetic fields and the extra electric particles in the air and things like that. And I'm not scientific, but so I can't get too deep into that side of things, but that's more the environmental. So I am starting to learn and pick up on that through my own personal experiences, what I manifest, what is environmental and is causing it, and what is the paranormal, which again, with the paranormal, to a certain extent, I'm causing that as well, because they're being attracted to me. We've got, different souls and that out there that are coming through, which is another reason why you have to keep yourself cleared, because you only want good spirits. You don't want anything around you that is going to hurt you in any way. So again, going back to last year, and when I started to wake up, even July, and before 2014, that was happening a lot, but I didn't know how to control it. And there were things coming in that I didn't want to know about and I didn't want to see, and unfortunately I did see them. But again, to a certain extent, I was just inviting them in without knowing it, because I wasn't in full control of my chakras. I didn't know it was my chakras that were opening. I didn't know I was having a Kundalini awakening. And once you are that open spiritually, if you don't know how to clear yourself and look after yourself, you can have others come in that are not quite as nice as your archangels and your twin flame and your guides and that. So it's something that you learn as you go along. Do I come from a psychic family? My mum was very psychic. My mum could see spirits. Once she would see her son a lot when he died. So yeah, there was a psychicness in the family. I think her grandma, her mum, my grandma, on her side was, I don't know anything about my dad's side of the family, unfortunately, so I can't find out from there. But yeah, there was a certain amount in it, not, I don't think to the extent I am now. It can be that it can skip a couple of generations and then show up in somebody else. But so my mum wasn't anywhere near as psychic as I was, but she could see spirits, whereas I've always been in the past quite afraid of spirits and ghosts and that sort of thing from experiences I had as a child. So in a way I'd blocked those out for most. I had a lot of experiences when I was younger and when I was a child, which they scared the living daylights out, and I blocked it all out. But obviously then, come a Kundalini awakening, there isn't any blocking out of anything, really. You have to learn then to control it and live with it and be happy with it as well, because at the end of the day, it's the most amazing gift. Your third eye's opened, your crown chakra's opened, you're clearing stuff, you're healing, you've got healing abilities, which is amazing, and you're in a position then to be able to help others as well. And there's so many people that aren't awake, and once you're awake, you can see the difference between being awake and not being awake. And I wouldn't want to go back to the way things were, and I wouldn't go back to the person that I was back then either, not being awake. So Elizabeth, you say that when 9/11 happened, your auras and your remote viewing went off the charts. I wasn't awake at that time. I remember it happening. I remember seeing it. But since I've woken up, I know what's happened, and I understand and know why it happened and how it happened and all the rest of it. And it's crazy. We really are living in a matrix. We really are. And the quicker people learn about that, and the quicker everyone wakes up to that, that's when we move, we're just moving further and further into this new age of truth and exposure and secrets coming out. It's true what I don't know if this has come from the David Bowie, his Dark Star album, or I heard him actually say it, but it's very true. We are born upside down and sideways sometimes, and if we tip everything on its head when you're awakened, that's sort of how you start looking at things, and you're actually looking at it from the right side up, where everyone who's still asleep is looking at it the way they've been taught to look at things and conditioned and programmed to look at things, and they're still looking at it from an upside down position. So that's quite interesting to go with. So there's been quite a few, and you've all been having a conversation between yourselves as well on the sliders, which is really good. So I had a lot of experiences when I was younger, and I think I've said before as well, I have a nasty, uncanny knack of knowing when someone's going to pass away, or whether they're going to last much longer, or I used to work in a lot of care homes and old people's homes when I was younger as well, and I always knew when one of the old people was coming to the end, especially when I worked nights and things like that. You could just feel it. And in one of them, actually, one of the old people's homes that I worked in, there was a cat that lived in the old people's home, and that cat was amazing. That cat knew when one of them was going to pass away, and she would jump up and lie on the bed with them and stay with them. And when you saw the cat doing that as well, that was an indicator you knew that they weren't going to last much longer, and I'd say goodbye to them before my night shift finished if I knew that was going to be happening. And unfortunately, lo and behold, the next time I went in for my next shift, they would have already passed. So that was not a particularly good gift to have, but that is one that I have. I said goodbye to all of my family as they were passing away, bar my dad, because I wasn't near him at the time. That was very quick. He died of a heart attack. But my brothers and my mum, I got to say goodbye to all of them before they went, because I knew they were very close. And I actually, the last time I saw them, they passed within a few hours, within me talking to them and telling them it was okay for them to go to sleep, and it was time for them to rest. So yeah, so loads of, God, and it's really funny actually. I'm just, because I'm looking at old videos of myself, and isn't it amazing how much you change in 1 year with things? And what's really funny, there's a comment I want to answer on one of my sacral chakra awakening symptoms, and I've got really short hair there, and I was quite slim, very slim there actually as well. But I just want to, Richard Hogan, you said this three weeks ago. Great video on the sacral chakra awakening symptoms, and you say look for the orb that enters the video at 3 minutes 47 seconds. I read your comment and thought, oh, wow, I've got an orb in my front room as I'm doing my video, which is pretty cool. So I looked at it at 3:47 and I started laughing. If you want to go and have a look at it, it's not an orb, Richard. It was the white tail of my husky messing about on the settee, and you just saw a flick of the tail. It's not an orb, it's the furry end of a husky tail. I'd love to say it was an orb and things like that, but unfortunately no, it wasn't. But you've got good eyesight to have spotted it in the first place, because I haven't spotted it at all. I've been on for ages. So again, thank you to all my new subscribers that have always been with me. If there's any questions you want to post, put them down below. I want to get back into properly back into this again. And as I say, while things are calm and I'm feeling a lot better than I did, I just want to get back into the flow of things again, and help, with awakening symptoms and things like that. And I will be up later on in the week with a spin-off video, the spin-off series, the spin-off video from the one I did with Peace, because there's quite a lot to, because I found that she'd gone through so much the same as I have, and looking at her comments underneath her video as well, a lot of you have all been through it as well, and you've been through some pretty freaky stuff. And even now with the eclipse, we're going through the same sort of thing, so it helps. I've got a stack of paperwork and things from when I was going through the awakening, because I started writing everything down and writing reams and reams of paper as I was clearing things and going through my life and getting out of the programming, deprogramming myself, working through problems, working through abandonment issues, working through all sorts of stuff. And there's reams and reams of paper in a huge bag, and I'm actually going to go and burn it all tonight while we're in eclipse, the height of it, because it's not something that I want to carry through with me. It's no longer needed. It served its purpose. It helped me to get through. I've cleared most of it now, so I'm actually going to go and do a little ceremony and just burn it and get rid of it while these energies are about, so I'm not carrying it into the future with me, the other side of the eclipse. So that might be a good idea for some of you to do. You know, sort out your old paperwork, sort out like gunk that you've had for years and get rid of it. Don't carry it forward with you, starting anew as you move forward. So I don't know where my camera's gone. There it is. Yeah, is that me? Right. So yeah, hopefully this helped. Stick questions down below about anything, information down below, thumbs up if you like the video, and yeah, I'll be back later on in the week. So namaste, blessings and light. I hope this is helping. Yeah. Right, speak to you soon. Bye.